Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. 1M, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator, and our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue. In support of that mission, we do these free mentoring sessions week after week after week. And this is the 416th of these sessions. It started literally 10 years ago in 2008 September, and now we have completed 10 years and 415 sessions, and we keep going. So we've had over 75,000 people participate, actually probably coming up to more like 100,000 at this point. The event is being recorded. You will find all the recordings of prior roundtables at the YouTube channel 1M1M Roundtables, and you will also find other video content there that is interesting learning material. Our Twitter handle is @1M1M and @Romana, actually is my personal one. Either one, if you follow, you will see a lot of rich content that we push through these handles. And if you're live tweeting the show today, use #1M1M. This is a roundtable, not a broadcast. We want you to participate as much as you would like to. So these are the call-in numbers. You're very welcome to call in when I give you the cue. Right now, we're going to work with 3 entrepreneurs who have sent in their slides and so forth. So we're going to spend time on their pitches first, and then we will get back to doing free open Q&A, so you will have a chance to call in, dialogue in public chat, and so on and so forth. Be sure to use the public chat in a send to all participants mode. Do not send private messages to me, because while I'm anchoring the call and giving feedback to entrepreneurs, it'll be very hard for me to do private dialogue with you or tech support. For tech support, contact Maureen Kelly, and she will dialogue with you in private if you like. But mostly the conversations should be in public chat. All right, one more caveat before we get going, just to set expectations for our entrepreneurs. Remember, this is a safe working session. So you can share whatever you need to share, whatever you're looking for feedback on, and we will do our best to give you feedback, and legitimate, candid feedback, not sugar-coated, but also not malicious at all. Our only agenda to help you remove your roadblocks and move forward. It is very possible that you might disagree with my feedback that you get to hear today. That's okay, it's your venture. You decide on what strategy you want to follow, and that's just fine. Remember one thing, not all businesses can raise money, not all businesses should raise money, and raising money does not guarantee success. So don't become obsessed with raising venture capital. All right, we are going to start with Jean Pierre Rukebesha. I don't know if I said that right, Jean Pierre. You have to.
Almost right.
Okay, what did I do wrong?
No, you know, the family names are always difficult to pronounce.
Well, Jean-Pierre, I'm sure I did well because I speak French, but the last name I don't know. It's not familiar to me.
Exactly. So Rukebesha, right?
Rukebesha. Okay, I didn't do so badly.
No,
all right. Tell us what you're working on.
All right. All right. Do you want me to get started?
Yes, please go ahead.
All right. So thanks for welcoming me and letting me share with you what I have been working on for a year right now. And I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to give me your feedback. So this is an idea which I have been on for a whole year. For a start, I have a background in financial services. I have been into insurances some years back when I was still in Rwanda. I'm originally from Rwanda.
Okay.
So I have been have been in Canada since 2011.
Okay.
So then, for the last 3 years, with some friends of mine, we bought a travel agency where we specialize into groups. So obviously, I get the exposure to travel insurances, how it's sold, how the supply chain look like, and so last year, when I started hearing about blockchain and cryptocurrencies, and I had this idea looking at what can be done in the insurance industry, because insurances are one of the pillars of the financial system. But I like to say that I'm not a socialist or someone who wants that everybody should share, but I believe some services, especially here in North America, the amount of money we pay on some of the services are horrendous. And some of the industries, you look at them, you feel like we can bring them back closer to the people. So that's when I started looking at the different programs with the insurance industry. Obviously, as the industry evolved, there were a lot of middlemen, a lot of people stretching the supply chain as long as they can, so everybody should get his cut. So that's probably where the cost started going up. And also, on the insurances, every time you try to make a claim, it's always a hassle. It's like you feel like you shouldn't do it, right? Because it's so paper-based, a lot of questions, repetitive answers, so many trips, phone calls. You spend so many hours doing it, and you realize it's designed in such a way that they can get you tired, so you give up. So obviously, that brings the issue of transparency and data security. And also, when you speak to the younger generation, what we call generally the millennials, most of them don't really like talking about insurances. They feel like it's a boring subject, and they don't really buy it as much as they should, even though we know if something happens, they might need it. And so they are exposed. And one of the reasons is because they don't understand it, and it's not really very, very easy to speak about. And also, the insurances really has lost that sense of our cooperation. So what are our solutions we're proposing was one of them is about bringing in some tokenization and bringing some kind of game, making it much easier for people to relate and being engaged all the time, not feel like people are taking money out of your pocket. And also,
Jean Pierre, I have one question before you go on, because I'm a little bit lost on what exactly you propose. You propose to start a new insurance company?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So this is what you're talking about solution-wise is a new insurance company with these functionalities and these differentiations, these features.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Okay. You should mention that.
All right.
So in terms of the pitch itself, one of my feedback is that you talk about these problems, and then the next slide should be just one thing, which is I'm going to start a new insurance company, and then what is going to be different? This slide comes after that, is that the differentiation is these are the features of that new insurance company.
Okay, thank you. All right. So the solution is the tokenization, introducing what we call a vault, which is the way of showing a strong balance sheet. Probably I should have, there is one, our business is defined as 40-40-20. I think we'll get to that in the next slide. And also try to see how the community, whoever is the buyer, the insurance buyers, can benefit the maximum. So they don't feel like you pay if you don't claim it's gone. So we are trying to build in something which we give back to the community instead of keeping building the assets of the company. And also we are applying the blockchains and smart contracts. We're expanding.
Okay.
Artificial intelligence on the claim side. We know it can be applied on the application side, but for the beginning, we want to use it on the claim side. And so here we are giving, so right now, we are doing, it's the insurance. One of our first products we believe is going to be the travel insurance, but we will be expanding in the other services. That's why insurances. That's why here we're highlighting the market size of the travel industry, which is really, which is linked to the travel insurance. It's quite.
This is interesting because I have a question here. Young people don't tend to buy travel insurance. It's old people who buy travel insurance. And you're saying that you want to go sell this, you want to position this for young people and you want to sell for travel insurance. Why is that?
Yeah, because if you look at the size of the population right now for the millennials, I take an example. I have the statistics like in the United States. We have about 90 million millennials in the United States, right? They say it's one of the biggest generations existed so far, which means they are likely to be the ones to change the industries and the way people see it. And then when you look at the blockchain and all of these new economies, it's pretty much related to the younger generation. You're not
doesn't matter. That's not the point. The point is, will they be interested in buying travel insurance? Because if your primary product is travel insurance, are they even interested in buying travel insurance?
Yeah,
young people don't think as often, right?
Because if you look at the type of engagement we want to bring in, and the way they get back the savings and the tokenization we bring in, which makes it like a game in a certain way, they don't buy necessarily because they don't believe they should spend money on it.
No.
We are really working hard to make it happen. So now,
so you're looking to change behavior, which is hard to do. I think your point is well taken. Things get stolen, right? One of my friend's daughters was traveling in Europe with a friend, and basically her phone got stolen, got snatched from her hand, and she was left without a phone. And iPhones are getting very expensive these days. So things like that, you have to basically create the use cases and the awareness around these kinds of things, basically.
Yeah. So from the discussions I have been having with people, we are likely to lean towards more into the insurance for personal items. Then travel can come along because they small items like phones, bikes, guitars, and stuff like that we can break. They are easily, people can
separate that. That's not part of travel insurance. It's just small items insurance. You want to start there. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
Okay.
So travel may come along, but we believe that with the type of engagement we try to bring in, people might see why should I not play this game, because we're trying to make it.
I would prefer, based on what you've said so far, my instinct is small items insurance would work a lot better than travel insurance.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
All right.
All right. So this is how we define our business model. We call it the 40-40-20. And when you look here, you understand why we cannot be like a broker. Because the broker, you have to share your commission with the insurance carrier. So the 40-40-20 means we take 40 of any premium which is paid. We give it back in the form of tokens. Then we keep the savings into a vault. Then the other 40% is set aside for claims and reinsurance. Basically, we're going to work with reinsurance companies directly, and any savings we make is going to flow back to the policy holder or the token holder in the form incentives to rally the community. And we only take 20% of the premium, which is allocated to Heluss ecosystem operation. And the only reason you could do the 20 is making the system more digital, not relying to huge brokers or a lot of people, huge offices with a lengthy office management system. So the app is designed in such a way that the buyer, most of the things are automated in the digital way. So we have got already the app to prove that the concept how it's going to work. So, so the business model, I have already talked about it. So these are the features built into the tokens, which you can only do it based on the blockchain and the smart contract. If you look in our white paper, you'll see we have got already the flow chart architecture, how the whole system will be designed.
Okay.
So I did a few projections, and these were only based on the travel insurance. Now, so we believe probably next year we might be still like around 5,000 policies. And obviously these numbers will change once we look at prioritizing the personal items insurances. This was only done for travel insurance. So numbers will look different. And
this
so
is
it's a gradual.
very aggressive.
Yeah,
very aggressive.
It is. Yeah, it is. We are
because and the reason it's very aggressive is that there's no explanation of how you get there. First and foremost, I think you should repurpose this to small items insurance and think this through. And then the question is really, how do you acquire customers?
Yeah, we'll get to that, right? So the way we acquire customers, we don't believe into the traditional marketing way because it's very expensive and it doesn't guarantee you customers. What we are doing, we are working close with our existing projects, which is community-based, like the marketplaces, and we are close to signing MOUs, which will change into partnership once technically we can work together. And we have had a really good response. There are three companies in the travel and the tourism right now, which are in the blockchain. They are very, very big. We have got 2 in the shared economies. We have got 2 in the marketplaces. And if you combine all those, their communities are over almost 1 million right now. So, and
what you're trying to sell, what you're trying to sell is small items insurance. How this is all going to flow is something that needs to be worked out very, very carefully. So if you go back to what you are insuring, that is going to drive what partnerships you need. So for example, phones, right? If you're going to insure phones, you should go do deals with phone makers.
Yes, that's one way. That's why we are dealing with marketplace, right? So let's take an online market space, right, where people buy phones. So there are 2 ways. You can go and work with a phone company, or you can work with a marketplace where they can propose an insurance attached to any item they're buying in the marketplace.
Figure out how many phones are sold in marketplaces versus through carriers or phone companies. I mean, Apple sells phones. Apple has, Apple is not selling through marketplaces. Apple is selling direct or through carriers. Anyway, but my point is your partnership strategy, if partnership is your main customer acquisition strategy, you're going to need to figure it out, how to sell, how to acquire those customers, how to translate that into transactions. And then if your MVP is travel insurance, but I'm not completely comfortable with you going into the market with travel insurance, I don't think it's going to work. So you may want to revisit what your MVP needs to be. I think your MVP needs to be in small item insurance.
Yeah, we have started working on it already for the small items. Okay. Actually, yesterday I was on the phone call with the tech people to get everything set up to get working, because it's the same process, but the way the algorithms are going to work are a little bit different. Actually, the small item insurance is much easier to build than travel insurance, given the regulations.
All right, well, get going, and I would say figure out, with the MVP, figure out exactly how you're going to acquire customers. That's the main thing that you need to figure out here, which I think is still missing. When you get to the finer details of how exactly you're going to acquire customers, you will see it's not that simple, and that's where you're going to need to figure out what kinds of partnerships, kind of workflow will work.
Let me give you an example of the way I see it. Do you buy air tickets or book hotels using like Expedia?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So our strategy is a little bit built around something like that, where you buy, you book a hotel, and towards the end there is a proposal for buying insurance, right? It's the same thing we are trying, but being more proactive, engaging based on the different reward systems our partners can allow to incentivize.
But all I'm saying is that the psychographic of young people when they travel is not, the natural behavior is not to buy travel insurance. That's my point.
Yeah.
So you're asking for behavior change. You will see your conversion rates are going to be really low. If you try to go into a segment where the natural behavior is not to do something, you're not going to get conversion. Whereas when somebody is buying a phone, and the iPhones are getting really expensive, so if you offer insurance at the point of purchase of an iPhone, people will pay attention, because now this is a really expensive purchase, and it has to be thought of it as an expensive purchase.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Good luck. Okay, we're going to move to Misho Milicevic from Vancouver. Misho, please come online and tell us what you're working on.
Hi, it's Romana. Glad to be here. So as you said, my name is Misho Milicevic from Vancouver, Canada. Quick little interesting thing about me is I was writing a book about the nature of reality. Getting close to finishing that manuscript right now. And basically, I founded a company called Grandeur Apps. Our idea is to build lots of innovative mobile apps. And my project that I'm working on is something I've named Theez Fit. And as you can see, what I'm looking to create is an online apparel shopping platform where shoppers can shop for clothing and accessories virtually using their own measured avatar. And the simplicity of it is to be able to use your mobile device's camera to get yourself measured. And then I would be hosting the retailers on the platform. And so all apparel retailers would join the Fit platform, and I would be creating their stores on the platform, and this is where customers would go shopping. So this is where I'm creating the synergistic relationship online between the apparel retailers and the customers and providing that solution to size and fit.
You want retailers to come and host shops on your brand, on your platform, as opposed to providing technology to retailers to use on their brands, their sites.
Yes, because what I've looked at in all my research, and I know this was going to be a little bit of a sticky detail to work out with retailers, because they'd be like, well, build something on my website or build something for.
It's not going to be a little bit of a sticky detail, Misho. It's going to be a gigantic problem.
Okay. I thought it might be. I didn't realize it might be that big.
You're asking people, you have no brand, you have no traffic, foot traffic. You're asking people who have all of that to come and host shops on some little place where there is no foot traffic. How do you negotiate that?
By creating a platform that the shoppers want to engage in instead of the website that they're currently dealing with. I've done extensive surveys on the consumer base, a little over 1,000.
Highly unlikely. I think you would do much better if you do have technology that works. You would be much better selling technology to these retailers.
Okay.
It would be impossible to get major retailers to come on your platform.
Oh, well, it does defeat the purpose of the platform to some extent then, because it's supposed to be like an online shopping mall in a sense. So that's
so on that, I can give you some pointers that you may want to research. If you don't have to do deals with retailers directly, like you don't have to actually get them to come and set up shop on your site. If you can become an affiliate, if your business model becomes an affiliate business model and you can scrape, the whole comparison shopping industry developed in this mode, right? Comparison shopping basically scraped all sorts of listings from everywhere and basically presented all the price comparisons, and consumers did use comparison shopping because that was a very useful service. In that sense, so for example, today, most retailers who sell apparel provide size charts and what kind of size, how do they put measure sizes, what information do they have about size. So if you could bring all that by scraping, by kind of doing a, basically web search and doing automatically with technology, if you can bring all that onto your platform, map that to your avatars and show that, okay, if you're looking for this product and such site sells it, and here's the size correlation for your size, and this is what you should be buying, and you then people buy there and you get affiliate commission on that. In that mode, it will work. But if you go to retailers and tell them that you have to come and set up shop on my site, I don't think it's going to work at all.
Okay. I'm going to still try to see how this might work because it is in the large picture. This is definitely to the benefit of the retailers because it's exactly what consumers do want. If we were
but they want to provide it on their side. They don't want to provide this. And there's a bunch of fit-related technologies out there that retailers are starting to use. So you have to do a comparative analysis also on what you're competing with there, and people who are willing to sell their technology and put it on other people's sites, on the retailer sites.
Right, and that is what I've noticed in most of my competitive analysis is that most people have created some kind of technology that is in addition to a retailer's website. Companies like TrueFit and Trimere are doing just that. I was hoping to beat them all out because I know it is. I know it's a difficult shift, and I know that.
It is not an accident that that's the strategy they're all following, because that's the strategy the retailers want them to follow. And the retailers call the shots here. The small, little companies don't call the shots. It's the large retailers who call the shots.
Okay, I thought that maybe retailers would. Okay, so yes, they of course do call the shots, but wouldn't they not make any decisions based on what the consumer base really wants, as opposed to what they want? Like, Netflix to Blockbuster type thing. It's like, what would you prefer? What does the customer want? So if the customer wants it, why wouldn't the retailer go for it?
Why do you assume that the customer wants this? The customer wants to be able to shop at whatever retailer he or she is shopping at and be able to use that as an online showroom. Why would the customer want to go to your site to do this? If I'm shopping at Neiman Marcus, I want to do my online fitting room at Neiman Marcus. I don't want to go to your site to do this. Who said the customer wants that?
I was surveying customers. I've got over 1,000 respondents that are extremely excited about a platform like this and would love to see the ability to be able to shop like this, because if we could grow the retailer subscription base to be hosted on this platform, that gives everybody the ability to shop at every other retailer store all under one roof, like going to a mall, as opposed to going to outlets where you have to drive from one place to another and keep on switching and changing your destination, and going from one website and going to a second website and doing comparative shopping by, you know, switching from one place to the other.
Test it with retailers. Test it with retailers. Test it with retailers, and let's see what they say.
Yeah, so that's what was my next point. So the point of this is to do the 3D virtual shopping by consumers creating their avatars, creating the entire inventory of retailers in 3D, and creating 3D stores for the retailers. And by doing this and housing a 3D store with their 3D clothes, consumers would be able to shop through an actual virtual experience of shopping on their mobile devices, and using the measured avatar, try on all the clothes in each 3D store. The great thing about it is that all the clothes would automatically be the customer's perfect fit, so the store would never populate with things that won't fit them. And so we were looking. This little chart was from Deloitte Research in terms of the trends in changing retail and what people should be looking to do, and kind of designed my market strategy in terms of a lot of the top-down research that I've found. So
there is a way to do this, by the way, which is you become a retailer yourself and you provide this, but you become a multi-brand retailer.
Right, and I was considering this to some extent, but I have been talking to some of the smaller retailers in my city here, so I thought I'd start small instead of going for the big brands, and proving the concept on a smaller scale here locally. And I've got some meetings that I'm going to be doing in the next few weeks with some of these retailers, and they seem really actually interested and excited about the prospects.
Small retailers may be willing to do it because they'll look at you as an additional marketing channel. But if you want large retailers or large brands to do it, you're going to, the more likely bet is going to be that you're going to have to become a retailer yourself. So one option you could start with actually is create a place where you bring together a lot of small boutiques, you know, a small designers, small boutiques, and help basically acquire customers using that merchandise and develop a following. So before you go to the large retailers, you could assemble a lot of small ones and create affiliate relationships with them, and then you have a value proposition to the consumers that, hey, I'm bringing you a lot of small designers, small boutiques, and you can get unique merchandise, not the big brands, but the smaller, more unique merchandise, and you can merchandise around that. Misho, what is your background? Do you have any background in fashion?
No, in technology.
In technology. So I'll give you a bit of perspective, but I think you're going to need to work with people who understand fashion. So I started one of the first online fashion companies in the history of the internet. That was in 1999. And this was actually my concept, but I was doing it as my personalized Saks Fifth Avenue or my personalized Neiman Marcus, where a consumer would come in to shop and would get everything customized. Basically, it's my size, my style, my colors, my preferences, my preferred designers, etc., and it would be my personalized Saks Fifth Avenue, and that basically is a personal shopper for a customer. So I have actually written extensively on this topic. So you can look up a variety of different writings that I've published under the Web 3.0 and online fashion brand. The Business of Fashion interviewed me on this topic. So you can look up some of that stuff, but what you need to understand is how personal shoppers in this industry work and how women who look for differentiated merchandise. So there is one angle that you have to think about here is the merchandising angle. So that is missing from, because you come from the technology background, the merchandising angle is completely missing here. So what boutiques do you work with, what designers do you work with will determine what types of customers you're going to be going after. And all that needs to be thought through if you want to go that route. Or actually, if you want to go any route in this space.
Right. Yeah. It was definitely the idea of creating a platform where consumers do have the ability to shop at many different stores, all under one roof. Many benefits come to the consumer based on this and their ability to easily and quickly select different items from different stores, try different things on, get different combinations. Of course, I have a back-end platform designed for an artificial intelligence.
But you're thinking like a technologist. You have to start thinking like somebody who understands the fashion business, which you don't, and you're going to need to understand the fashion business to be able to do this business right.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So
I would have chosen different slides had I known how this whole process was going to go down. This entire process was going to be. I do have a number of different presentations, and I was kind of putting this all together. This one slide quickly is just looking at the complete total addressable market in general. You know, global retailers, roughly 10,000 plus. And there's about 2 billion consumers with mobile devices. The revenue...
once you start, you're going to have to position this. You're going to have to position this to a particular band of customers, you know, certain age group, certain psychographic, etc. And then you're going to, this is going to get sub-segmented to something that's much smaller, much tighter, and that's really what is going to help you determine what is going to be the merchandising strategy, what types of retailers or what types of brands do you want to bring on board, etc. There's a way. I mean, building a fashion brand has a way. Okay. And you have to switch your thinking to how to build a fashion brand, not the technology is the enabling factor, technology is the differentiator. You're going to have to start thinking about how to build a fashion brand.
Okay. 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 And yeah, absolutely. Okay. I guess we could just go on to these questions.
Recruiting talent for equity, you have to present a very compelling picture of what is it that you're trying to build. And if you are compelling, if you're convincing, and people think that you are going to be successful, then and only then would people be willing to do this for equity. And you're not there right now. It's very much a 30,000-foot plan right now, and I don't think this plan would convince people to get down to working for you for equity. How do you go about validating retailers? You're going to have to go talk to them. But before you do that, again, there's a lot of homework, a lot of positioning work that you need to do to determine which retailers should you be going to. And without doing that homework, you're going to be, doing something that we don't like, which is called spray and pray. You want to position this, you want to have a strategy, and then you want to go talk to retailers, and you would have a higher chance of closing them, if at all. And if it's not retailers, it may be, if it's not large retailers, it may be small retailers, but you're going to have to do that homework ahead of time before you approach them. How do you find a startup mentor willing to, sorry?
This is a merchandising strategy that you were talking about, or?
Yeah, which retailers are you going to be working with will be derived out of the positioning, brand positioning, and the related merchandising strategy.
Okay, we can skip the next two questions and maybe just go to the last one then.
You have a business plan, a crowdfunding strategy, a launch to market strategy, growth plan. I don't buy that you have these things. I think you have a lot of work to do before you actually you convince me that you have these things. I don't think you have these things. And besides, raising crowdfunding for these kinds of ventures is not at all easy. Crowdfunding works well if you have a widget or a product that you can sell, do an advanced sale on. That's not what you're doing here. You're selling technology, or you're trying to build a technology business. This is not the kind of stuff where crowdfunding works at all. So you are far from launch. If you try to launch right now, you're going to fail. So you have a lot of work to do before you can launch. You should launch or spend any money on launching. You have a lot of strategy work to do.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Well, yeah,
if you hang on, I will explain later how to use the 1 million by 1 million program. If you want to use the 1 million by 1 million program, you'll get a lot out of it, partly because I know so much about this industry, having done a business in this industry. So I'll be happy to give you that knowledge.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. Mahesh, you're up next.
Hi, good morning, Sharma.
Good morning.
And thank you for accommodating me today also.
Sure. Go ahead.
This is we're continuing from the suggestions that you gave me yesterday. So I have made those.
You need to summarize because there's a whole new set of people in the room. So you need to summarize what you're doing so that they can follow you.
Absolutely. So my name is Mahesh Sharma. I've been working with Oracle for the past 12 years. And I am an Oracle Intrapreneur, scholarship winner of autumn 2018. Oh, 2017, I think. Yeah, 2017. So I've been conceptualizing this idea called a development and support assistant. Can we move to the next slide, please?
There you go.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is to create an artificial intelligence and machine learning based system which will assist the development and support teams to resolve issues faster, to do their work better, and by that enhance the customer experience. Can we move to the next slide, please? So what I would essentially do is two things. One, a lot of systems are out there which are called application performance management systems, which monitor the different systems that we use. All of them keep track of how a system is being used by its set of users. So what I do initially is to pull out the user logs from there and mine data from that and construct how a user is using a particular product. A particular product can be used in several different kinds of ways. In many cases, the makers of the product would not have an exact idea of how that product is being used. So what I'm doing initially is to pull out that data and find out how many different ways a product is being used, rank them in the order of popularity, and then I will pull out data from the different databases that log issues, and that's basically the bug DB or the service request DB and the knowledge bases, and these issues would be mapped to the appropriate action points in the user flows. So what you essentially get is an end-to-end flow where the historical issues would be mapped to each action point that a user is taking. Can you move to the next slide, please? So where this information can be used, it can be used for issues resolution, new features development, enhancements, and all that. Can you move to the next one, please? So
you can skip the scenarios. Let's go to the piece that you want to work on with me, because we just went through this yesterday. I don't want to take up all the time on this.
Yeah, sure. So the next slide, this is the validation slide. So this is what this is something that I have inserted yesterday. Based on the customer validation, I have gauged the response of the different teams that I talked to in each of these companies. So the development teams, the QA teams, and the strategy and product management teams were really, really interested in this. And in the order of interest, I have grouped them like this. The UX teams, the UI and the UX teams wanted it, but they were not as enthusiastic as the Dev, QA, and PM teams. Support teams were like, they were interested, but they wanted to see the value add before.
Well, you know, I can tell you this makes perfect sense to me, because for a product manager, how customers are using the product, how the click flow is coming through, and is enormously valuable information. So value that you provide around that gives them an opportunity to figure out what features are being used, what are customers doing, and that makes perfect sense to me.
So yeah, so these are some of the minimum viability features, not some of the minimum viability features. The extraction of and reconstruction of user flows from the user logs. Mapping, that's the most important feature here. Mapping of the historical context to the points of occurrences. Then ranking of these map user flows in the order of the most popular flow all the way to the least. And then, most importantly, the visual analysis capability, where a user of this product can go analyze each point in a user flow, drill down to what all are the issues that have happened there, what were the reasons which help them for faster root cause analysis, so on and so forth. Can we move to the next one, please? So this is the future and the some of the known MVP, the predictive analytics, which will predict issues in future, the chatbot and personalization, and then extending and enriching. That is also from the customer validation that I did. Some people wanted different capabilities. They wanted to draw different conclusions from this user flows and other insights that are coming out of it. But I did not think about it while designing this. So probably they were suggesting that this be built as a platform and can be sold upon which they can build their own stuff surrounding it. For example, migration advisory pieces, then user efficiency, like coder efficiencies, employee efficiencies, all those things can be brought out of this. As pointed out, I mean, this came from the advisory companies where I went. So these are some of the benefits. Yeah, sure. So these are the use cases. Yeah, so I have just put in the way you suggested according to the interest that has been generated. Initial pitch to the dev, QA, and this is the recommendation, It's, next. So this also the same. This I wanted to, this I put in yesterday. First to dev and QA teams, then to PM strategy teams. And
again, I think the first people who would be interested are the product management and strategy teams. then it would be dev and QA, and then it's going to be user experience, and then it's going to be support.
Okay, I'll put it different. Okay, fine.
That's my guess.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. So this also I arranged according to your suggestion. I had actually put product.
Where is the product management in here?
Oh, I counted them as dev. Everything comes under dev. The product management, dev, and QA comes under dev here, and UX and support comes under support. I mean, I'll have to mention that somewhere.
Is it possible for you to separate out the PM, product management and strategy?
It will be very minuscule a number, even in a big company like Oracle. The percentage is really less, so I can actually take them in with the dev. So I actually counted them as dev.
I think what will happen when this gets taken out for sales, it's going to happen. You're going to basically be selling to the PMs and strategy teams as the POC. They are the ones who are going to do the POC, and then you will get to dev and support. So I think for a year or two, even, you're going to be selling to product management only. So I would like to, if I were evaluating this, I would like to see the breakdown of how much can you do with product management, even understanding that you're going to have a big jump from product management dev to dev, and then you have to architect the product such that product management gets convinced, and then what, is it product managers basically getting all the value, or does dev actually have value to get out of this? Because if product management is going to get the value and then develop the specs, and the dev doesn't really need to go through these logs, then your TAM model is going to completely fall apart.
The benefit for product management and strategy is different from the benefits for dev. So
okay, let's go back to your use cases for a moment.
Yeah, sure. So this is for product management. They get the prioritization. Okay. For development, they are not. I mean, it's more like issue resolution and under directions from product management, the impact analysis and stuff like that for and regression analysis for new features and prioritization. So the benefits for dev, benefits for QA, benefits for product management, everyone. I mean, those are all different.
Okay.
Even though I did.
All right, let's go with that. Let's go with that. The only thing I would suggest here is to try to pinpoint what is the product management angle and what is the UX angle. Because I think product management and UX will want it sooner than dev and support potentially. But again, test it.
The thing is that the product management is not known as product management everywhere. In many cases, they fall under dev. In some companies, the architects and all those people, they don't have especially in service companies, you don't have a product manager. So that's why
all right, that's fine. Just talk through all that when you're presenting. Talk through those categorizations and the issues with actually being able to pinpoint where it penetrates. But do talk about the fact that you will most likely penetrate through product management and UI, and then flow into dev and QA, and then come into support. So what is the story on competitive landscape?
So yesterday you asked me to have a look at App Dynamics. So I spent quite a lot of time on that, and once I went to the site, I realized that I had considered this company earlier. Okay, it was in my notes. So they don't do anything different from Dynatrace, for example. Dynatrace is especially, I mean, that's dedicatedly for I think SAP. So what these people do, they do performance management. They do performance monitoring, and business continuity and all those things they are looking at. They are sitting on logs, but they are not extracting it to make a flow or They don't talk about the popular flows or the least popular flow, the way I have envisioned it.
And why is that? Well, it kind of makes sense that that is the next step. They are monitoring their, why wouldn't they talk about the flows? And so what, can you dig deep into who is using and what is the action that is coming out of these people? They are debugging, obviously, problems.
They are not exactly debugging per se. Okay, I in fact signed up for most of these for the free subscription. Okay, so what I could figure out that they are majorly looking at the uptimes, not the functional issues, not the small technical issues. They are also not much in space of enterprise applications. They are mostly onto websites where they are making most money out of figuring out when is a user leaving the system. Let's say somebody is going into a system for making a transaction.
Like shopping cart abandonments, that kind of stuff.
Yes. So they are making a lot of money on that. But two companies. Can we just go to the previous slide, please, once? Yeah, there are two companies out here, Dynatrace and AppDynamics. They have some sort of, they do monitor some enterprise applications. But what they are looking there is the memory, the server side features. None of them are looking at the front end, none of them are looking at the functionality. So that is where I'm moving in.
Okay, good. All right, good. That's good.
Yesterday you specifically talked about the AppDynamics integration capabilities with Jira. In fact, they do integrate with about 176 technologies. But what they are doing with a BugDB like Jira is that the moment they sense a failure, they notify Jira and the ticket gets raised automatically for the Jira to solve it. That's it. That's the integration that they are talking about. I read through the white papers. I had a look at the demo also. So what I'm doing is that I am integrating with a bug database, a knowledge base, and the service request base, and I am bringing in the historical context onto the user flow.
Yeah. Well, and your customer base is primarily software product companies and software services companies whose main business is to develop applications and making sure those applications work well. So it's a slightly different target audience. Their audience are people whose bread and butter is web apps and mobile apps, and they need to keep them up and running. So it's a different point of view. I think that is the real competitive positioning that you're going for, which differentiates you from them.
Yeah.
So now, when you present, you need to be able to say what I just said. So go listen to the recording and make sure you can spit out what I said.
Yeah, I already made a note of it now. Thank you.
Okay, all right, good progress here. And you were going to show me ROI.
Yeah, this is for Oracle only, inside Oracle, so that's why the marketing costs are less. This is for a 5-year period, at the end of which I achieved the minimum target.
So
I'm giving an increment of it. Yeah.
Total cost is, so you're saying cost, and then you go to total expenses. You should just say total cost.
Sure.
So it's $25 million. You're asking for a $25 million investment over a 5-year period, and you're delivering $138 million in savings.
Yeah, and earnings, which the account and sales teams told me that they would bring in with an increased customer experience. I'd taken the bare minimum. They told me 2 to 5% of the existing.
So can you do one thing here, Mahesh? Yeah. Can you break this down into let's say if we don't take this annual earnings, if we can just do this ROI on the basis of savings alone, you're asking for 25 million in investment, you're delivering 138 million in savings. That's a decent ROI in itself. Then you can do a separate slide on the earnings impact and show that as a separate slide. And then you can show the external one.
So the ROI on savings alone is about 670%.
Yeah. So that is in itself a compelling story.
I'll do that. I'll do separate slides for them.
Yeah. Okay, good.
So,
very good. So walk me through this one. This is $139 million in over a 10-year period, almost 400 million.
So
$533 million in costs.
Oh, that's because the marketing has. What I started with was like if you put $100 into marketing, how much new sales you can make. There was no, let's say, no answer, no concrete answer for that. So I pondered over the marketing budgets of a lot of big and small companies. I went through their yearly reports to find out what percentage of growth they have achieved with that much amount of sales and marketing budget. And I worked for about a couple of months on that, and I finally arrived at a hypothesis that for every $100 you spend on marketing and sales, you make about $50 worth of new business.
I see.
Okay.
So here you're assuming an internal benefit, and then you're assuming new license revenue, similar to what you did for Oracle, and then you're translating that into total annual benefit and calculating ROI based on that. That's what you're saying.
That's right. That's right. For the costs, the development costs, here also I'll change the expenses to cost. I gave a 15% increment on the dev cost year after year in the previous for Oracle only. Here I have made some quantum jumps. So
I see. So this is not what we are looking for. This is all very well. This is something that your salespeople, Oracle salespeople, will use to sell to their customers. What we are looking for is what is the ROI for Oracle if this product goes into the market? How much revenue can Oracle generate out of this product?
So that's the total revenue will be over a 10-year period, a little over $2 billion.
No, that's not what this is. Oh, you're saying this internal benefit is for Oracle.
The one that we computed earlier, that we saw.
I see.
That plus, okay, I think I'll have to make separate slides for this because this is going to be confusing. So
yeah, this is not at all. So what we are looking for here is, hang on one second, this is getting confusing. I see, now I know why this is confusing. So then you should take out annual earnings altogether from here and just show the internal cost savings.
Okay.
And then see, the problem with this, the flow of information is nowhere here do I see what is the revenue. You have three types of ROI that you're showing. You're showing ROI due to internal process improvements.
Yeah.
Secondly, you're showing additional sales that will happen because Oracle will use your technology to improve its products, and there will be a sales lift because of that. But the point that I'm probing is, if this becomes a product, not just an internal process, if this becomes a product and this product gets sold to other software companies or other services companies, what is the revenue impact of that?
So that's like the recurring plus new license revenue. That's
so I would like you to do that separately. Do these three categories separately.
All right.
You have all of that here mixed up, and I don't want to see them all mixed up. It's too confusing. So I told you already to break this one down into two, and then what I want to see in the next one is just what is the revenue impact. If you build, if you productize this, what is the revenue impact? What is the cost of productizing? What's the cost of marketing and sales? And what's the revenue impact? So those are the three categories of benefits that you're doing, and that's how it needs to be presented.
Sure. I'll have that done as soon as possible. Yeah.
All right. That's it. Good. Very good. Good progress. Nonetheless, I think it's going to, as I told you yesterday, it's going to take another couple of 3 iterations, but so I think in the next iteration, you're probably going to get there.
All right. Thank you. I think the next possible opportunity we will speak. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right. Well, that was it for the presentations. I'm going to explain to you how to use the 1 million by 1 million program. Now, before I do that, I would like Maureen to share the interview I did with Paolo about the Oracle program. Oracle has just launched its new 1 million by 1 million challenge. It is the fall 2018 1 million by 1 million challenge. I know many of you from that program and from Oracle are in the room. So please, by all means, feel free to take a look at this interview, and you'll get a feel for what Oracle's program has been, and it's been going on now for 5 years. We started in 2013, and it's been a very, very successful, highly engaging program that has developed the careers of a lot of Oracle employees. So it's been a great partnership, and we look forward to looking at your applications and having more of you in the program. So definitely keep attending these roundtables, listening to the recordings, and get familiar with the program, and then apply for the scholarship as the deadline approaches. Maureen will give you the deadline in public chat. So let me switch to explaining to you more about the program. This is for everybody. You can basically, before I go there, I want you to bring us 10 serious entrepreneurs who are your friends, your family members, your peer group, your colleagues, who are trying to be successful entrepreneurs and who want to follow a proven methodology. All our resources are at 1Mby1M.com. You will find a blog. Just by following the blog, you'll learn a lot, and it's a free blog. The Entrepreneur Journeys book series, we've published 12 volumes of case study-based books. You can learn different topics from that. Everything is available on Amazon. We have these free roundtables happening every week, so come back week after week as long as you want to. Listen to the recordings. You'll learn a lot. The full acceleration program is 1M by1M Premium, and that is a $1,000 annual membership fee-based program. We offer you extensive methodology guidance. We have a full online curriculum that is over 300 hours worth of curriculum, and it's all case study based. We help you with business development. You have access to our terrific Rolodex if you are part of the premium program. We help you with strategy consulting, just the kind of consulting that you were observing throughout the program today. Basically, is how we do the strategy consulting, but in private sessions. These are private roundtables for our members only. We do help you with financing. Go to the seed capital section of our blog, and you will find interview after interview of investors that we work with. And we'll give you a flavor of how deep and how thorough we are in figuring out what investors are looking for. And you do need to achieve investor-entrepreneur fit. Just like you need to achieve product market fit, you will need to achieve investor-entrepreneur fit to be able to close a round of funding. And then we also help you with media relations. We have a lot of clout in the media. Go use the 1M self-assessment on the website. It's a set of questions that you will need to answer to design good strategy. This is a requirement to develop good strategy. And if you get stuck on methodology points, you can subscribe to 1M Basic, and that will give you, you know, a way to fill the knowledge gaps that you may have. That's pretty much it. Go to the website. There's tons of materials, FAQs, video FAQs. Figure out what to expect from the curriculum, what to expect from premium, what to expect from basic. We have over 800 successful entrepreneur case studies, and they have generously shared their journeys, how they put one foot before the other. All that is woven into our curriculum. This includes 50+ unicorn companies, 400+ venture-funded companies, 350+ bootstrap success stories. You will learn a lot from studying them. Our methodology is lean, capital-efficient bootstrap startups. Bootstrap first, raise money later is the mantra. That's it. In October, we have four public roundtables, and we have 2 rendezvous. Those are in-person meetings in Cafe Boroni in Menlo Park. And we also have 2 of those in November and 1 in December. So you have a chance, if you are visiting the Bay Area, or if you are, if you live in the Bay Area, you can absolutely come and meet me and hang out. And I do, these are kind of office hours, networking sessions, just a chance to meet in small groups, small intimate groups, and talk about your issues. That's it. We are open for Q&A. Please feel free to dial in or insert your questions in public chat, and I'll pick them up from public chat. And while you're doing that, let me introduce you to Irina Patterson. She is your contact. If you would like to ask questions, Irina at 1mby1m.com is your contact person. Anybody? Questions, comments? Feedback? Introductions? If you'd like to introduce yourselves, feel free. No? No one has questions? All right, we've covered a lot of ground today, so let's adjourn, and we'll meet you back here next week. Thank you very much for coming. Bye-bye.